We have all three major broadcast networks, fake news, CNN, MSDNC, all happily broadcasting, well, the dullest, the most boring. There's absolutely nothing new. Multi-hour Democratic fundraiser masquerading as a January 6th hearing. And by the sounds of it, they're going to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of this, produced by a former ABC executive, 100% Hollywood production with all the creative license that would go along with that. But make no mistake, tonight's so-called hearing is not in good faith. It is not an honest probe into the security breakdown on that fateful day, and we will prove that to you tonight. Instead, it is a made-for-TV smear campaign against President Trump, featuring sliced and diced video that fits their predetermined political narrative from the very beginning, accompanied by the biggest Trump haters on Capitol Hill.
Sean Hannity really he leaned into that. Yeah, he did. And if you're asking why he's flailing so much, well, essentially, here are the text messages that Liz Cheney unveiled during last night's hearing.
But most emblematic of those days is this exchange of texts between Sean Hannity and former President Trump's press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. Sean Hannity wrote, in part, "Key now, no more crazy people, no more stolen election talk. Yes, impeachment and 25th Amendment are real. Many people will quit." Ms. McEnany responded in part, "Love that. That's the playbook." The White House staff knew that President Trump was willing to entertain and use conspiracy theories to achieve his ends. They knew the president needed to be cut off from all of those who had encouraged him. They knew that President Donald Trump was too dangerous to be left alone.
With all these text messages, it kind of makes you wonder whether this is kind of the cause for that iOS update in terms of being able to delete your text messages that have been sent, because so many people are being exposed for things that they said via text messages. Anyway, we definitely know that what Liz Cheney had shared in terms of the text messages from Hannity were a huge shift from what he's trying to do. Especially from November 29th, when he texts Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, to essentially believe the big lie that the election was stolen. He had texted this: "I've had my team digging into the numbers. There is no way Biden got these numbers, just mathematically impossible." That's what Hannity sent Meadows. Clearly, Hannity has been all up in this coup insurrectionist nonsense. And that's why he was trying to get people not to watch it. And the thing is, he needs to be held accountable without a doubt. Why he is still on air is beyond me, but it is very much a Fox News thing. And I kind of expect it from them. You, Brett?
I mean, it was so funny watching two different things last night. On the left, basically, we can talk about this later in the Fox News response, but Hannity was doing that at the exact same time that Cheney was reading his dirty laundry. That happened basically at the exact same time, like 2 minutes apart. He knows, at the beginning, maybe he thought it was mathematically impossible for Donald Trump to be the loser in this situation. Maybe he thought that. What in my contention would be that Sean Hannity just didn't know. He was so out of touch, he didn't know how much people hated Donald Trump. Fine. But even someone like that, someone who earnestly, it seems, in November said Trump didn't lose, has listened to, we would say, common sense, but also to literally everybody, many of them Republican, who have every incentive to permit Donald Trump to get away with a lot of stuff, looked at the numbers and say, that's a train I can't get on. And one of them was Sean Hannity, saying both from a practical perspective and a truth perspective. People who look at Sean Hannity will say, well, maybe he was just factoring in some kind of calculus of how public opinion would perceive this and how the Democrats would go. But that's only because they have shown that they deny everything else. And there's some things that they can't deny. And he was being outed on national television to millions and millions of people for being someone who said they can get rid of him over this. He was right. They tried. But the truth is, I've said this very crassly since the very moment that Donald Trump was elected president in 2016. I'll say the less crass one and say he's a fart smell, right? You walk in at the beginning, you're like, oh God, that stinks. But after a while, you just go nose blind to it until something even stinkier happens. It takes something even stinkier for you to notice it. And the grand thing you need to take away from this is that at some point we need to hold him accountable in a way that doesn't allow him to try an even stinkier fart in the future. And while I'm saying it glibly that it's a fart, what it really is eliminating democracy in America. And no matter how much Sean Hannity tries to downplay it, it is that severe a thing.
The thing about Sean Hannity that really makes me question a lot is the man is like banking maybe I think 40 mil a year, 45 million a year. Couldn't you have just sat there and earned your money as opposed to jumping in this nonsense? Be like Tucker Carlson. Sit and throw your propaganda nonsense and take your paycheck and move on. But no, Hannity had to get himself roped into this. And I hope he gets a pair of handcuffs to go with his foolishness because it's what he deserves.
Oh, they love it. They love every second of it. That's the difference between Hannity and Carlson. Like Carlson was born into royalty. Like his dad ran the public broadcasting service and was an ambassador to the Seychelles. Like he was fine from the get-go. But it was, not to mention the Swanson broth family he ended up growing up. But Hannity's just kind of like, I'm now best buds with the president, as opposed to being the guy whose job was just to beat up like a physical, God rest his soul, but a physical straw man. The scarecrow from Wizard of Oz, Alan Combs. Like, but the one thing I do want to point out before we move on is this. In that statement, Hannity says that we're talking about Hollywood produced, a big ABC producer produced this thing. Donald Trump is a product of Hollywood. Because you ask anybody about his business acumen, they'll tell you it's nonsense. All of Trump's administration was Hollywood from top to bottom. And it was all big glitz and glam and nonsense. And the fact that they asked the producer to produce a television event is something that Sean Hannity's gonna pretend is something you should clutch your pearls off over and ignore. No way, no one's buying that.
No, and also too, I would not want the government to have done a production. Like, get out of here. That thing would have been on some old school 1996 Excel spreadsheets thrown up on a screen, probably a projector too.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.